And now, the Big J. Oakerson and Dan Soder.
Oh, there we are now. Oh, there we are now.
Clear that shit. Get ready. Run and start. Run and start.
Bonfire. It is the bonfire. It's the bonfire.
Bonfires burn.
The bonfire.
Bonfires burn with ember.
It's
bonfires. I am Daniel Soder, and this is my voice.
Bonfire.
Hey,
Bonfire.
from the racks and stacks, it's the best on wax. How about another double golden only twin spin sound sandwich from KLAM in Portland? It's...
Is that what you think of us, Lou?
Yeah.
I was just trying to warm you up with some old school.
No, why would you warm us up playing that? Is that what you think of us?
Not yeah, like radio guys.
Did you get the Kooky Burns clip? My favorite one from Greece. Hey guys, if you're in the mood for getting down, it's only time to come downtown.
Really?
Yeah, you remember
I thought you were going
Grease?
to nail the whole thing.
No, I don't know how it goes.
I watched Grease maybe 4 times at daycare.
I fucking love it.
That was it?
Yeah, it was on. We were like, all right, I'll watch that movie. I'm kind of into it.
So you don't remember anything about it?
I mean, I remember it. I just wasn't.
Fontaine.
I just wasn't like super into it. I maybe watched it like 5 to 10 times growing up.
How old were you?
When I like saw it, probably like 7.
Oh no, you can't drink it in then. I mean, I probably
I
saw.
can't take in Grease.
I probably saw it around that time too, but I didn't realize how fucking sexual.
Yeah,
Grease was.
Maybe I got to rewatch it. Should we do a rewatching?
I don't know if I even fully processed when I first saw it that the dude fucking knocked the girl up.
Yeah.
And that was his, and it turns out she wasn't pregnant. There's a whole thing about her being pregnant or not.
Yeah.
In high school,
Should we do a rewatching at your house?
I can't with John Fugelsang wearing a leather blazer. I can't.
So perfect for the Grease.
I don't know. I just can't.
He looks like a shitty Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. It's hard. You know what it is? It really is hard when you're a comedy show and someone just gives you so much stuff where you're like, how could we not talk about this?
He's Southern Ohio Jones.
Yeah. Ba, 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 ba. Is that Indiana Jones?
That was A-Team.
That's A-Team.
You're A-Team. You guys are all A-Team.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
That's it.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Hold on. I need to take this easy opinion and get out of here with this. This safe, easy, guarded opinion. Jacob's not here to shit blood when we do this.
Oh my God, that blazer is killing it.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, and anybody, before I get out of here, anybody want to play the daily numbers with me, or what's up?
Oh, yeah. I want to throw paint
Hey,
on it.
Rock, why don't you take it to the zoo? I hear Ritas love the zoo.
I want to throw paint on it. Murderer! You murderer!
There's not a fucking chance that blazer's not vegan.
Oh, you think that's a vegan fake? You think it's a pleather?
Oh my God, yes. Or it was made from like donated like adult dead seals or something.
What if he went hardcore and he's like, it's human skin? Here you go. You know what? We're not going to stop. We're not stop talking about him right now. We're going to do what HR. He did what HR couldn't get us to do.
Damn it! That blazer makes me laugh.
It's Lost Tapes, motherfuckers. Welcome to the Bonfire. I'm Dan Soder. That's Big J. Oakerson.
Sure is.
I say motherfuckers a lot at listeners, and I really apologize. I don't think you're motherfuckers. I think you're great people.
Hey, motherfuckers, I came in today. You motherfuckers.
You mother.
You mother. Really, thank God it was resolved, but I had that one of those. It'll happen a zillion more times. No one can get a hold of Isabella after school. No one was quite sure where she was for a short amount of time.
How long?
I guess like half hour.
That's a long time, man.
It's a long time.
Especially in today's age. I mean, when we were growing up, you could get lost for a whole afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
I remember coming home after hours and my mom being like, where the fuck were you? And
no, like, my mom wouldn't even have thought that something terrible would happen till midnight.
Midnight?
No, not mid. I mean, like, what age are we talking here? At Isabella's age? 15?
Yeah, 15. Oh, no. 15, I could be gone for a couple days and Trish wouldn't have known. Trish would have been like, all right, maybe he's come back. I'm talking about like 10.
Yeah,
10 years old.
10 years old.
I could get lost until Sunday. If I came home,
at night. Yeah, when the sun went down.
If the sun went down and I showed up, I wouldn't be in that big of trouble.
No, but if I was
gone
after sundown,
I was fucked.
If I came home at least without calling, call. You always
or as my mom called it, checking in. Check in.
Do a little check in.
Check in.
You could be robbing a fucking store for hours as long as you check in.
Dude, I remember
with your mom once in a while.
Yeah, we after school we'd go smoke cigarettes and then fucking watch Grocery Warehouse. Sometimes they'd steal shit. We were doing bad stuff, but if I checked in, it's good.
As long as check in, no big deal.
I always had my mom would always go, where are you going? Out. When will you be back? Later. And that was like
Oh,
it.
what a cool,
Go out.
what a cool California kid existence.
Well, she
Mom,
couldn't-
I'm going out.
There's nothing her mother could possibly do about it.
She goes, get back here. She goes,
That's true.
Yeah,
Nothing.
she was a head on a bed, man.
She goes, where are you going? I guess he.
Where are you going? Get in. No, you have to stay.
Right.
You
To
have
the
to
right.
stay in this radius right here.
Walk back to the foot of the bed. Young lady, walk back to the foot of the bed.
Now walk to the left more. I'm going to side eye you, Christine.
Now go to the right side. I'm going to give you empathy eyes. I know you're going through a lot.
That head nod.
Put
was
my
a bit
head
of a
there.
stretch.
Put my head down. Cock my head to the side so I can purse my lips and give you the really face.
All right, take both of my arms, put my hands on top of my head like exasperated. All right, ready? And what are you doing? What are you doing?
I like Gumby and Christine's mom for different emotions.
Hold on, pose.
She
me.
goes, Christine, you are home 3 hours late. Cross my arms.
Yeah. Christine, stop Burt Reynoldsing me and Playgirl. Stop Burt Reynoldsing me. Roll me over. I'm not on my side. Why are you making me Burt Reynolds and Playgirl? You go, leg up.
Christine and a pretzel mom.
You should go stretch Armstrong. I'm going out. I'm coming home whenever I feel like it. You're like, your mom's like, God damn it.
Just tie her hands and feet to the bedpost and, and trampoline her.
You go, Mom, we got two options. I'm going to go smoke butts outside with whoever I feel like, or I'm going to misery your ankles. And I won't feel bad about it.
My mom's ankles were always kind of miseried.
Were they
as
really?
it was, yeah.
When did your mom go fully paralyzed?
When she said she would stop writing books about her father's favorite character.
That's right. Christine's dad goes, I told you I want one more book.
You'll do it here, right? You'll do it here.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Christine was just a little kid, like running around all happy, didn't know that every time she walked in the room, her mom was like, please, young girl, you have to get me out of here.
Give me medicine.
Your father's a very, very sick man. I can get him help, but you have to let me get it. It wasn't even her mom.
You're just another lying old dirty birdie.
That got real morbid. When did your mom go fully paralyzed?
It's hard to say because she wasn't ever actually paralyzed. Crippled.
Lazy?
Crippled, but she could feel. When you're paralyzed, you can't feel.
Okay,
she
so
could
she
feel,
had
so it was
multiple
even kind
sclerosis.
of worse.
She had multiple sclerosis?
Yeah, very similar to the disease that your mom had, but permanent.
Guillain-Barré.
Yeah, I was reading about it, and what happens to the body is very similar.
Yeah.
Both
But-
diseases ended your mother's dreams of breakdancing.
Yeah. Our moms could have been a sick breakdancing group.
They were going to be so
man.
good.
Oh,
And
single
they had
mom.
that
Sin and Trish, Cynthia and Trish.
The third member of their crew who used to hold the other end of Christine's mom when they would make her like a double Dutch rope.
Yeah, Trish would be on the hands.
Yeah. The other girl from that got Lou Gehrig's. So everyone
ALS.
went down with something.
Yeah.
Everyone went down with something.
Yeah, we think it was their rival group.
And the girl who would jump the rope got whatever that Awakenings thing is,
Yeah,
where
the-
she's frozen in place.
And you could throw a baseball in and just keep doing it. Shawnette. The Shawnettes poisoned their water supply.
Oh, God.
Dude, that fucking Family Guy scene.
Oh, yeah.
When Peter keeps just pegging Chris in the face while he was frozen with a baseball, yelling "Awakenings! Awakenings!"
In Awakenings, Robin Williams tossed a baseball to Robert De Niro, and he snapped out of it and caught it. Maybe we do that? Chris? We thought we'd... Awakenings!
Peter, I'm not sure that's a...
Awakenings!
You're gonna hurt him if...
Awakenings!
Peter, knock it off.
Awakenings.
When did your mom? Because my friend Brian, 2 doors down, his mom got MS, but I knew her.
3 doors down, Dan.
I
always 3 doors down.
You're right. I'm sorry.
If you go, Chris.
Did you watch it happen? Did you watch the deterioration happen?
No, she got diagnosed, and then we moved, and I stopped seeing her as much. So when I knew her, she was still kind of moving around and okay,
Yeah.
and then and when we got to middle school and high school, or later in middle school, she got real bad.
Yeah, it was bad. She had the doctor said she had the fastest progressing case he had ever seen.
Did he try to say it like it was a positive? He goes,
Hey.
He goes, here's some info. You got the fastest progressing case I've ever seen.
Dude, your mom's setting records.
Yeah, he goes, clock her in, because she is doing well. I mean, not doing well as far as your life goes, but
killing it in the medical journals.
Yes.
She went, I'd say, at 6 she was in a chair, and probably by about 10 she had no hand function, and then probably by about 13 it was like she could kind of move her head.
yeah.
So she would lay in bed with this little button that she would press that would signal the speakerphone, and then after a minute the operator would kick on, And like that's how she would die. She just had to like memorize phone numbers to dial out. So that was like her only
Could she
function
talk?
was like her neck. Yeah.
She could speak normally?
Yeah, she could talk and she could speak. She was on a lot of pills, so like you know, a little like Ativan and Paxil and a bunch of mood shit. But it was the last year she lost her mind. It was really the last year and a half she lost her mind.
Do you think she blew your dad?
They had sex.
Really?
I found out, and it's like very weird. And I don't know how often, but I remember like
It's
my
like when Dan
mom
used to
said
fuck his
something about it.
when Dan used to fuck his Ultimate Warrior pillow buddy.
Okay,
Pretty
first off, I
much,
didn't.
I
It was a
mean-
wrestle buddy, and I never fucked. They only watched.
Yeah,
I set him up to watch and cheer. I would staple money to their hands.
I cucked Ultimate Warrior and my Hulk Hogan wrestling buddies by banging a panda. Where I go, "This is your wife. You don't like this, do you?"
I fucking hate this Sheik. I know you do.
Hey, Hulk Hogan, look what I'm doing. Oh,
yeah. If you got a problem with it, you can see me at the greatest arena in the world, Madison Square Garden on March 19th.
You go, what an angle for SummerSlam.
This took a turn. Dan fucked Ultimate Warrior's panda girlfriend?
Yeah, and Hogan watched and didn't do anything.
So they used to have sex.
well, I don't know how often, and it was something not that we talked about, but my mom like said it to her caretaker one time, and I heard it, and my dad was so mad.
She goes, "Hey, check my back because I think it's blown out from yesterday. Hey, roll me over. Is my spine still connected? Because Mr. Evans got in there."
She's like, I think he went to town on my a-hole. I don't know, though.
Yeah. She goes, it smells different. The room smells different.
The room's had a must since last evening, and I haven't sweat.
I don't know, almost like a butt fog.
I imagine because she wasn't paralyzed, there had to still be sexual sensation. So, like, I hope, like if my mom could come, I hope she was coming.
Yeah.
You know?
If she's paralyzed, at least she's still coming.
Yeah, like I found out later in life that my Aunt Vicky, her best friend, used to come over, and we used to have to leave. It was because they were bringing her pot to smoke.
Oh, nice.
And so I found out, I was like, oh, great, because when I found out that pot could have been useful for MS, I was so bummed I didn't know that when my mom was alive.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, her friends were coming over and like smoking her.
We just
up.
blow it in her face like a cat. You're like,
Right, they
Jesus.
probably did.
They're like, Vicky's like, here you go. She's all, thank you.
Your mother sit back, put on fucking fog hat.
Yeah.
Sit back with a roach.
And she's like, nah, take Christina for a walk. I'm about to fly.
But yeah, that.
Mama's got to fly.
About to blast off.
I mean, was she doing like heavy pain pills as well? Because I mean, MS, is that a painful disease? I don't know much of.
No, you know what? Like Oxycontin and those type of pain pills weren't really a thing. I don't remember her being on like a Vicodin or anything like that.
Okay.
But she was on Paxil, Ativan, Balco, like the bunch. She took like 10 different pills a day.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what each of those pills were for. I just know like what type of pill she needed at what time. I don't know.
So you gave your mom pills the way I made cocktails for my mom coming home.
Yeah, I would be like, it was time for the little white. You know?
Yeah. Did you have like the pill box, like the thing that you flipped open and it could like
No,
go through?
she had them all in her bedside drawer, and they'd be like pulled out every day, which ones she needed.
Did you have a nurse?
Yep.
She had a nurse that
Well,
came by?
yeah, you
Caretaker?
Yeah, like one of those $300 a week, caretakers that comes in and kind of handles it. So I wasn't like, because my dad was gone all afternoon.
Yeah.
He worked 3 to midnight, Monday through Friday. And
Okay.
then there was a caretaker at the house. Sometimes they'd live, like, we had this woman, Carol, and her husband, Carlos, lived in our spare room for a couple years. And then
Nice.
some woman named Jeanette. I had like a Trinidadian lady named Mary.
This
And
conversation's bumming me out so hard, and I'm just staring through a window at Fugelsang in his Nicolas Cage Snake Eyes jacket.
What if I told you that the Declaration of Independence is a map?
He's got a national treasure chest.
But I was such a little shit. I didn't respect any of them as adults or authority.
Really?
No, not
So
at
you
all.
didn't even, you weren't even like welcoming to him. You're just like, ugh, just flip my mom over and leave, you stupid
Well, they're
Trinidadian
also
fuck.
like caretakers are shitty to the people they take care
Are they
of.
really?
Yeah, they're not nice people. Generally.
Let me slap it on. Look at this dead ass piece of white meat.
It's a lot of
Like
that.
I
yeah.
would, I had a
real
talk
bummer.
boy, and I would record her like being like mean to my mom. 'Cause,
What?
I mean, they would get in like screaming matches.
That's gotta suck when you're just like, God damn it, I need you to fucking.
the Dateline NBC.
Yeah, like,
Because my mom was very difficult too, so she was a difficult woman in a difficult situation.
surprise,
and it was
surprise.
hard.
Yeah, well,
Apple don't fall far.
I was waiting for that. Oh, goddamn, I was waiting for that.
Very
one.
difficult.
Yeah.
Like, she never learns when you tell her something
She had,
75
a
times.
she had a laugh that could pierce a concrete wall.
It's weird. I would have liked to get to know her. Apparently, she had,
But it's weird
she
when
had
you're,
very definite ideas about the wrong opinion.
I'm like, oh, everybody didn't just like like say they were. I had rules because my friends had rules. So like my friend that I would hang out with had to be home before the streetlights came on. So
that
I would
was
come
your
home
rule.
before the streetlights came on.
So you just adjust to your friends'
I would
rules.
adjust whatever my friends' rules were my rules.
My mom had such a fucking iron fist as a single mom that it was like a fucking military platoon. She was like, if you're more than 5 minutes late, like she used fear. My mom used fear. When I grew up and I realized that not everyone's mom used fear as a fucking parenting tactic, I was blown away by it because I was always like, man, your mom's soft as shit. I'd sleep over at my friend's house because their mom would be like, do you guys want dinner at like 7? What are you guys thinking? Pizza? Trish would be like, 6 o'clock, table set, or someone's getting fucking screamed at.
See, I pictured your mom had like one of those helmets on that has 2 beer cans in it, but she has wine boxes on them.
Oh man, I wish.
And but also while she was doing that, she was like sharpening on a stone like a knife that has finger holes in it.
Oh, like from a Cobra?
Yeah, like something that's very just a custom job.
Beautiful's mine. What does he say? What is the fucking villain say?
I don't
She's
remember
mine.
what the villain said. You're the disease.
Yeah.
I'm the cure.
Yeah, Cobra. She's got the Cobra knife. But she, no, my mom was just like, my mom was drunk, but my mom was like a 50s dad in a mom's body because she worked all day and then would drink hard at night but then still be a mom and like make dinner. But then it was just fucking crazy combative.
Was your mom like cuddly and affectionate,
Yeah,
and like
she would
motherly
be.
in that way?
She would be at times.
Whatever you want her to be when she's passed out.
Yeah. Yeah, I gumbeat her when she was just drunk. My mom wasn't paralyzed. She was passed out. I love you, Dan.
Me and my mom did 2-person plays together. She had no idea.
You guys want to see the VHS? It's just me. It's just clearly strings behind my mom.
I love you more than wine, Dan.
You're better than a Southern Comfort Manhattan. And I put the arm over my... I go, thanks, Mom. And she goes, you're not... I don't take your dad's lying out on you. And I go, oh, cool, thanks.
I'm high on life, that's all.
Oh, no. I like you better than my boyfriend. I go,
I'll get back to you one day. You're better than Luke.
You're better. Luke, that's my cousin. That's too weird.
Right. There was
Joe.
Joe, but there's some other ones.
Randy's my favorite mom's boyfriend.
I don't even know if I remember Randy yet, but there's been a few fucking just great ones. Keith's great. There was one recently that really caught me hard. It might have been Randy.
I think it was Keith.
Lou, what was your childhood? I mean, like all these things, we always bare our souls in our stupid family.
You just keep your head down in your paperwork.
Lou was eating porridge in Russia.
Christine's mom was a fucking clump on a bed. Dan's dad
bring a
dies.
picture, I won't.
My dad went and lived a very normal life, just forgetting one element.
He's got his 2 sons in Ohio.
Dude, I love it.
That families still together, doing great, celebrate every holiday together.
Christine had to talk to her mom like a mystic tree. Jay's dad did a reset. My mom was a fucking military general, like a child soldier general. Where she's like, if you want to be in my army, you must kill your own family. I'm like, oh, God, Trish, you really do run it like a fucking...
It's a lot, Trish.
You run it like an African warlord.
If you want to chew on this will help you kill your family.
And then Lou is just mystery. He's just off the map.
What do you think, Lou?
Black Lou I want to get into, because Black Lou I'm interested in getting into, like, you learned immediately how to get white chicks. Like, you become like a horse whisperer with white girls. You're like Gilmore Girls.
Basically,
I feel like you have a very like suburban, upper middle class upbringing.
Whoa,
yeah,
Christine.
I mean, it was definitely upper middle class, but my mom was super strict because she didn't want me to become like a black statistic.
Yeah.
So she was basically like your mom, like
So
street lights.
she got super disciplinarian.
Oh yeah.
Will you thank her for that?
I definitely do, yeah, because my dad wasn't around either. Him and I never really got along.
I didn't know you had a Gary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When did your dad take off?
I was maybe 2.
Oh shit! So you didn't get? I got through 5.
Has he popped up through life?
I mean, yeah, we're pretty cool now.
You're cool now.
But he was like a really bad alcoholic, so we weren't cool.
Did he quit
for a long
drinking?
time. No.
So he still drinks?
Yeah.
So is that hard? Because I'm always thinking like Gary went into the dirt drinking, and I can't imagine him being around now because I feel like I'd be fucking really annoyed all the time if he got drunk. Because I get annoyed with drunk people probably because of my mom and mostly,
Dan, what's up? Can you grab me some smokes before you come over? He goes, Dad, I'm across the country. All right. Where is this little boy?
Yeah. I mean, that really is like, I think about, you think about, he goes, Hedge, the Niners are playing the Seahawks. Yeah, Dad, McDaniel's the offensive coordinator. And he goes, oh, Oh, that kid was a half a fag.
Oh, fucking! So you're a fancy boy now.
Oh, cool.
Who knows the coach?
Oh.
I guess and your old man. So I guess you're saying what? Your old man's a piece of shit, never made anything of
Dude,
himself.
I would wreck Gary. If there was a fight, I'm thinking about it. Think about fighting your dads. Jay, Black Lou, and even Lou Witzke.
I know I'm not sharing a lot. I can't. I don't know. I can't.
Dude, we got to take a commercial because this is going to fucking go long. This is going to go long. This is...
Oh, the Lou story?
Yeah, dude. We're going to go...
Wait, this is a clue. There's a clue in this song.
Yeah, he's making it sound like an after-school special. I think Lou was raised like...
Lou, were you molested? That's the only way it could be worse than everybody else.
I wish for that happy ending.
I think Lou was raised like Conan the Barbarian on a wheel.
Did your parents die in an accident?
I wish for that happy
Both.
ending.
Oh, then yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, what a
it's
tease.
dark.
Did your father kill your mother?
No.
And then himself.
Were you like or were you white? Were you actually white precious? Did your mom used to make you eat her box or something?
Oh
Did your
God,
dad
no.
get you pregnant?
Oh Jay, were you a Cleveland basement? Did you have to eat McDonald's for 7 years and perform sex acts on your brothers? Did you have a Kevin Spacey upbringing?
Did they kick a baby out of you?
Yeah, did they kick a baby out of you?
What is it, Lou?
We got to take a break.
It's nothing. I mean, I can't get into it. It's just I can't. I've pushed it so. I've repressed it so far back.
You know what? Jay's right. We got 12 more minutes. Let's get into this. Dad and mom, were your dad and mom married your whole life growing up?
Yes, but my dad would have Budweiser for breakfast.
Got it. Big booze bag.
Yeah. Oh, did you just beat was it violent?
Yeah, it could be.
It could be.
Yeah.
Did you know when it was going to turn?
Oh yeah.
You saw it coming.
Shit, yeah.
Because I knew when Trish was going to get violent. I would watch a couple of the things happen, and then I'd be like, by 11, 12, you start leading with your hand up. You start fucking bracing for it. You start learning how to slip a jab.
Let me tell you something with our fans, Lou. If you have a story right now where you stepped in front of your mom when you were really little to defend her in front of your dad, you said,
your dick's going to stay constantly wet.
You're going to fucking get through me if you want to hurt her, you piece of shit.
And then Will tried pulling him out of the way going, no, stop!
Get off, Stu!
I do, but my twin was the hero, and he did that, and I was just the middleman. He actually did that.
Wait,
oh, really?
Really? Stu did that?
Stu did that.
Stu got
Are you
involved.
sure it was him? Can you tell from fucking looking through the slats in the closet door, you fucking fruit bag? We gave you the opportunity, Lou. You could have made yourself the hero. Stu doesn't listen to this show.
Yes, he does.
Oh!
But, all right.
Stu put up his dukes and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
So basically your dad was a tyrant, just like a drunk tyrant.
Very good word. Tyranny.
Tyranny. Is he still alive?
No.
When did he die?
Like 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Did he die in the marriage? Were they still together?
Yeah. They were always together.
How did you kill him?
No.
Did you put him down?
I told you Stu was the aggressor. If anyone was going to kill him, it would be Stu.
Did you accomplish? Did you get the gun wiped clean?
I picture Stu just fucking diamond cut him out of nowhere.
Yeah,
RKO out of nowhere.
He goes, I can't keep track. There's too many of them. I thought I was yelling at the right one. The other one came, RKO out of nowhere! RKO out of nowhere!
RKO out of nowhere makes me so happy. RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah, he did it recently to Jinder Mahal. But back to you, Lou. So was your mom like an apologist, or was she like combative? Would she go back at your dad, or was she like, guys, you don't understand, your dad's under a lot of stress?
Yeah, she was passive for a long while, and then as we got older into our teens, we're like, you gotta fucking leave this guy.
So like Black Lou, your dad took off, my dad took off, Jay's dad took off, but your dad stuck around. Christine and your parents were married, obviously.
Yeah, it was bad, and my dad definitely fucked up in parenting me, but I'm telling you, my dad's a good man.
That's how I feel about,
like, he stayed and took care of his sick wife. Like,
yeah.
He probably has a lot of regret.
If you believe you can cure pedophilia.
Yeah.
He's always very affectionate and loving. Like, he major alcoholic.
Yeah, that's like, I think everyone can find criticisms of their parents, because like no parent fucking nails it. But I definitely
listen, my dad's like a fucking fun goo. You met my dad.
Yeah.
He's fine, but
Dude,
like,
but then I also
just blew it as being a dad.
But let me tell you this, because I feel the same way about my dad. My dad was like a lot of fun and like super funny and like great to be around, but just checked out completely. Yeah, it was basically when I was 5 years old, he was like, peace. I'm going to San Francisco. I mean, I was around him until I was 10, and then legitimately at one point when my grandmother moved from San Francisco, from Marin County up into Lake County, where she lives now in that shitty like fucking lake town. it changed everything. My dad wasn't white trash until he moved up there. And then it was like he just globbed on with these people where I'm like, I felt like,
wait, a grown man can wear a half top and short shorts? Goddamn right.
Well, no, he was already corduroy shorts and liquor t-shirts all day, every day.
Oh, okay.
But
he just found the haven of that.
But no, in San Francisco, he was more like, when he was in the Bay Area, he was kind of like fun Gary, the bartender, like, hey, Gary, like boat shoes, and he'd be like ripping butts, and he'd be like, fun. When he moved to Lakeport, it got sad. It got like, he started hanging out with people.
He had
where
a favorite
like,
lawn chair kind of thing?
Yeah, where it got real dark, where I was just kind of like, I remember the first time I hung out with him in Lakeport, I was like, all right, this kind of feels weird. And then I didn't talk to him for 2 years. He disappeared for 2 years. And then I went back and saw him and was like, oh, shit got real dark. Like, shit got really... And that's when he was living with this woman that I think gave him hepatitis C.
What was her name?
Jeanette. It was great. It was Jeanette. And she...
They always have the perfect name for that.
Yeah.
Jeanette likes to wear short jackets.
No, but she had really teased... like
feathered bangs.
Like, yes.
Yeah. And she wore the banana clip across the middle, so it was like big puff.
It was all like kind of curly or whatever.
A lot of puff. Yeah.
A lot of puff.
It wasn't straight hair at all. It was all like bouffanted up.
All my dad and her did was drink and fuck. Like, that's all they did. And she had 3 kids, like grown kids. She had like a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 14-year-old. Kind of like that, but more curly in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It wasn't really the DJ Tanner.
A bit of a Kimmy Gibbler more?
A little more of a Gibbler. She had a Gibbler. But she... what's crazy about that is, like, when I started hanging out there, it felt completely different because Jeanette's youngest son, who was 2 years older than me, like, loved my dad. My dad was the shit. So if you're around my dad, you're like, this guy's funny. He's fucking, good dude to be around. So Neil, that fat-titted fuck, to this day, that dude could suck my dick. If you're listening to this show, you fat cunt, I hope you fell down so many stairs. He would treat me like absolute shit when I'd visit my dad. Because my grandma, I would either sleep at my grandma's house or I'd go sleep at my dad's. And I wanted to see my dad, but I had to sleep on their itchy-ass couch. And then fucking Gary would be blowing her back out in the other room when they'd be all hammered having fucking loud...
Yeah, Jeanette.
Yeah, Jeanette getting it. And then my dad would get up and go to the bathroom for her room and he'd have underwear on. And he'd be like, hey, pal. You doing all right? And I'd be on the couch.
What's up,
like,
champ?
Dude,
you smell Dad's tip?
Oh, new mom is sleeping like a fucking champ.
I want to go see what cigarettes and fuck smell like in a windowless room.
He goes, you want to see what your old man put a woman through a mattress? Yeah, it's on the floor.
And
but
Soder was there. Was his dad totally out of the picture?
My dad?
No. You're not stepbrother.
Neil's dad.
Neil's dad.
Oh, God only knows. That guy was probably dead.
He put her through the mattress like, remember the mom at the end of Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah.
It became part of the bed.
It just became a fucking interwoven her. It's like when fat people get attached to their couch on my 800-pound life or 1,000-pound life. But Neil, the youngest kid, he lived in the garage. His bedroom was the garage. Like, so they put carpet down or whatever. And I remember being jealous of that and that I got to hang out with my dad all the time. But he was like, he was a piece of shit to me. Like, he would get alone. He would get alone with me and he was bigger than me. And he'd be like, you little fucking, he'd be like, you're a faggot. And I'd be like, all right, Neil.
Damn, just look. You have to look at him.
Oh, God damn it.
You have to look. The hat. I mean, the hat. Black Lou almost just fell down. I mean, like, it's...
Oh, my God. Dustin Chafin's in there with a cowboy hat. I was like, what is up with all the hats in there? And I was like, oh, Dustin Chafin usually wears a cowboy hat.
There's too many hats.
But
on the road again.
But what's weird about that is, like, I was like an outsider. So, like, when you would see your brothers, they're your brothers. Your half-brothers.
These current ones.
The current ones.
My actual half-brothers. My dad's kids.
Yeah, your dad's kids.
Yes, my stepbrothers was when I was younger.
Yeah.
That was the thing where you felt a bit of an outsider for sure.
Yeah,
my dad was with these, 3 kids all the time.
All the time. And when now, Black Lou, did your dad have another family, like kind of like Jay's dad?
Yeah, but later on.
Really?
Yeah, like when I got into high school.
There's something to think about leaving your kid for. I mean, I think of how different the situation would be if when me and Carla ended it and I went with Christine. Like if Christine had a kid,
yeah,
like a young kid, like I mean I would be like I wouldn't have been able to move in with Christine at all because I would have been like it will. I can see exactly how that's sending Isabella into therapy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm like just like someone because I have to be. I just will be more of a part of that, kids. I just would be.
But you're around. It's the whole thing. It's like I remember when
the new kid's father was living with Isabella, and you're like, there's some
Jay's in that situation where he's like, that kid is that man's immediately in that role. I mean, it's even on a take out parenting. But I remember Pete, the handsome roommate that we've talked about on the show. When he moved out, he's like, we're still going to hang out all the time. And it's like, no.
I realized we haven't seen Mike Fenoya in so long, and just because we never had to make plans because he was in the house.
But so why is a roommate different than a dad? If you're a dad, you're going to be in a different house and you're around that kid. And so it's like when you see your stepbrothers, not even knowing it subconsciously, you're like
half brothers now.
No, I'm talking about your stepbrothers when you first showed up. Okay, because I think when that's fresh and your dad's like fucking gone, and then he's just got these new people, you're like, man, what the fuck? Like they're eating your lunch. You're like, what the fuck, man? Like
the weirdest thing I saw him with, which is by the way, in hindsight, strikes me as fucking crazy. But they were in trouble for something.
Yeah,
and he was gonna like smack their asses with a fucking wooden spoon.
Your dad's kinky as fuck.
It was weird. It was weird for sure.
Dad goes, just hit random kids.
No.
You go, Dad, stop dripping hot wax on Marshall's back. He's like, you were bad.
So I say, here's the thing. He had never, ever hit me. My dad? Ever once?
Like never disciplined.
This is why we have
listen. He never hit me. He smacked me in the face extremely lightly once when I lived with him for a little bit, and I was being a dick. And what he even did was like I wouldn't even describe as a slap. I remember thinking it was weird. He's so much more involved with them that he would even be in that position of disciplining. Like
because that's a form of caring. That is a form of caring.
It would be weird to me if my dad was like, "Hey, what's going on with your schoolwork?" I'd be like, "What?"
So what's funny is Fat Titted Neil, when he lived in the garage,
FTN.
Oh, Fat Tit Neil. They got cable. This is how white trash they were. They just got cable, and it was like 96. I think it was like 95. It legitimately was 95, and they like just got cable.
We got it pretty late.
Yeah,
I probably got about 93.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I remember they were being like, my dad was running. He was splicing the cable to run it into Neil's garage room or whatever, and my dad was like working on it. And I remember watching Neil be like, Gary, when's the cable going to be in my room? And Neil was 14, I was 12. And I remember being like so fucking jealous that because my dad got mad at him. My dad was like, fuck Neil, I'm trying to do this. Give me a second. And then Jeanette's like, Neil, leave Gary alone. He's doing it. And I remember like being in the other room and hearing that conversation and being like, man, this ain't my family. Like,
everybody goes, Jesus, Dan, you believe this kid? He goes, took him to fucking 2 Niners games this month.
Guess who
this was acting.
He goes, guess who we met last month? Ronnie Lott. I drove down to the Bay Area myself. I go, my favorite football player of all time? He goes, yeah. He calls him Uncle Ronnie now. I told you I knew him. Remember Ted? Yeah, he's a friend of him. But that was the only time, when I used to visit my dad in San Francisco from the time I was 6 up until that moment, when I left, I would just go home and be like, I want to go back to San Francisco. My mom would be like, right. Like, I'm the one feeding you and putting clothes on. That was the first time in my life when I heard that conversation that I remember going back to my grandma's house, calling my mom and being like, I want to come home. Like, I'm just kind of done with this. I'm done. I don't want to fucking be out in California anymore.
How old were you then?
Fucking
12.
Yeah.
Danny, little Danny goes, you know what I love about you? You never give me any grief. He goes, let me tell you about, what's his name?
Neil.
I'll tell you about Neil. He goes, I take this kid camping every weekend. And this is what I get during the weeks. Like he's failing geometry. Unbelievable.
He lights up a marble.
Unbelievable.
Lights up a marble on the side of his mouth. He goes, you know what I like about you, pal? You're like a houseplant. Just gotta water you once in a while. He goes, let me tell you something about Neil.
He goes, you want to smoke?
He goes, you smoke Reds? Hey, you're probably like your mom. You're a bitch. What do you want, a Camel? I'm all right. Well, I'm 12. But he's smoking and he's like, here's the thing. I go over Neil's homework with him every night. I go, every night? You forgot my last 2 birthdays. He goes, I know. I was too busy planning Neil's birthday parties. I go, oh, that's why you missed mine? He goes, ironically, it's June 25th, the day after your birthday. I'm a little busy. He
wanted to quit school, but I was like, no, you have real talents in there. And I fostered his talents. And I think with some of my connections, Dan, I was able to get his book published.
He goes, what? He wrote a book? You go, yeah. He goes, he did.
Called Life with Gary.
He goes like this. He goes,
is it a good book? He goes, I don't even know. I just wanted to get behind it.
He goes, can I tell you this? He wrote it about mine and his mom's love for each other. I go, what? Yeah, his mom's my true love. You get that, though, right? Anyways, you going back to old saddlebags and Aurora? Jesus. He goes, side question, Caledonia's still open? God, those burgers. I love those burgers.
Soder, the 2 years that you didn't talk to your dad, did you still talk to your grandmother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to my grandma.
You know, like you and your grandmother have always just been.
Yeah, she, man, what's crazy about my grandma is it took me getting into my 30s to hold her accountable for letting my dad be such a piece of shit. Because my grandmother's 90 now, and I remember when she was like 85, I was visiting her and we were having a conversation, and my mom did that thing. The second my dad died, my grandmother and my aunt were like, he was an angel. He was perfect. He was funny. He was smart. He was the best. And, I was 14 when he died. I didn't really know him. And then it took me to be about 30 or 32 where my grandma was like, Dan, your dad was just an angel. And I go, well, he's a shitty dad. And she was like, what? No. And I go, no, Nana, he was. He was like a really shitty dad. He wasn't there at all. And then I remember this moment where she was just like, you're right. You're right. He didn't try to be in your life. And I was like, yeah, so let's stop bullshitting each other with this.
Yeah.
And that, cry, go, I might as well have no boys now.
Oh, no, you're dead too. Oh, come on, Grandma. The Italian thing. That was a great family guy.
Yeah, I love it.
He goes, Joey was
You
crying.
might as well be in that box with. He was dirty, Ma.
The San Gennvino Festival.
Yeah.
He goes, what is this? A little.
Take
your TV.
We're talking family today on the Bonfire. Let's come back and keep talking family. We're going to I want to hear the story of Stu fucking throwing up the guns.
You might have to fucking shotgun a beer upstairs to get you in the mood to talk about this.
I want to tell you guys who my dad left me to move in with.
Yeah! Oh, man, this is going to get dark. And Black Lou, we have his dad disappearing.
Yeah, Black Lou's all fucked up, too, I'm sure.
It's Cat Stevens all day and Harry Chapin.
That's it.
Get ready to cry, motherfuckers. This is the Bonfire.
Sad family shit. We'll be right back. It's Bonfire.
And now, back to the Bonfire with Big J. Oakerson and Dan Soder.
We're going full sensual father. It's father fucking music all day.
You want to fuck your fathers out there?
Oh,
you just found the right radio show.
Oedipus Radio. It's the Bonfire Comedy Central Radio, Series XM95, The Lost Tapes. I'm Dan Soder. That's Big J. Oakerson. And we're just going through a bunch of family shit on this Lost Tapes, trying to clear the air out, trying to see why we're all broken toys.
We're doing it on a lost tape, so the people that we're talking about can't call in and get angry at us.
Yeah, hey, Fat Tit Neil.
Those
still
who are
suck
alive.
my dick. I hope your cable's still going on in your garage bedroom where your fucking unwanted child probably lives right now.
Bet Jeanette's still going knees behind the ears for any old slog who comes through town.
Oh, no, she got hep seat out of here in 99. I don't know. I don't know if she's actually dead, but...
They found a cure.
Yeah, they did. My fucking aunt died of it because of my dad.
Why? They fucked?
Yeah. I'm in a fucking Lannister household. No, my...
Everybody just going for it in the house?
Oh, dude, pants off, dance off. No, my aunt was a certified nurse, and when my dad got hepatitis C that turned into cirrhosis, she went and took care of him.
Right.
Because they couldn't really, he was in the Navy, so he could go to the Veterans Hospital, but that was in San Francisco.
And he was like, I love you for helping me so much, sis. Blood brothers.
He went, and then he snickered. He went,
give me that tuna can.
He goes, no, let's be real blood brothers. She goes, Gary, we are blood brothers and sisters. We're related. He goes, yeah, I know. Let's just do it again.
Yeah. So what's the big deal? We can't. We're related.
Shut up. You're ruining it. Connect it. Let's go back to being one.
Oh, you feel that bulge in my corduroy? You feel my corduroy ridges flattening out?
You're about to rip out. Oh, look at that. Oh, look who just made a corduroy into a flat piece of land.
I don't wear underwear. It's for faggots. Underwear is for lady boys.
But my dad used to throw up blood, and then my aunt was taking care of him, and it got in her eye, and she got hepatitis C.
Gee, that sounds like an Outbreak movie.
It really is.
She got it in that way, like an Outbreak movie.
Like legitimately.
As long as you don't get it on you, you're fine.
Yeah.
Everyone goes, all right, did you get any in your eye at all? And she's like, no, I'm fine. Then she looked in the mirror and there is blood in her eye. And it's like, dun, dun, dun.
And then a monkey spit in her mouth.
Just get, jerked off in her butt.
Yeah. All the seals are covered.
Everything you could possibly get. Then a mosquito. Then a bunch of mosquitoes came in.
But I always think like we were talking about it, but I think my dad's death definitely, and we were talking about this off air on the break, but like Black Lou, Witzke and I were talking about it. It's like, it kind of inspires you to go be better when your dad, when my dad died, I think if my dad would have been in my life.
Or it set your bar low.
Set your bar low. But I think it also motivates you.
It could, sure.
I mean, when your dad
that's
went
a bit
to
of what's in you.
When your dad went to Ohio and you saw him with your stepbrothers.
Right. So
did your stepbrothers make your half brothers?
Well, my stepbrothers was not Ohio. That was when he was still. That was when he was supposed to get me on the weekends. Yeah.
So that's still when he's in.
He always lived somewhere between like a 45 to an hour and a half away.
When that happened, did it make your stepbrothers? Did it make your half brothers more palatable? Like, was it easier for you to have half brothers because you had stepbrothers that you?
By the time my dad started having kids, I don't remember having any emotion towards my dad having kids,
really?
Like actual kids with my stepmother. By that point, I was already like, who gives a shit?
Really? So you'd given up?
I was just like, by that point, I was just getting to an age, like 11, 12, where you kind of, I want to start being noticed a little bit less so I can kind of do what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely 11, 12, 13.
So I was kind of like, your dad's like he wasn't involved in my life much before that. Now it's like, now he's preoccupied with starting a whole new family. Like, fine.
So you were almost like, good.
My mom and stepfather started having a new family. Only thing was about that was my mom's family started making responsibility for me.
Because you had to look after your younger siblings.
Yeah, like legit, like job was like watching them. Yeah. I was young enough that I couldn't say, no, I'm not doing this today.
Yeah. Were you more comfortable with your mom's kids, obviously, because you grew up there and you knew Joe?
Yep.
At what point did you feel more comfortable with Joe than your own dad? Do you remember that?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe like a year in or so.
Where you felt more, but I'm saying like you felt more comfortable around Joe than your own dad.
I think within a year of Joe living there, like it was very routine of our life, and there was more like, I don't remember being a kid. Honestly, God, it's very interesting as to when I got like the anxiety, like right before I went on those tours. When I always say I kind of popped one night.
Mm-hmm.
March, was it March? Yeah, it was March 15th of 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Was when I thought I was like, oh shit, I smoked too much weed tonight for the first time ever. I've smoked too much weed, and then
impossible.
I woke up in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let me go sleep this off. This is weird. I'm rattled, and I don't like it. Like, I feel very scared for some reason. Just the whole uneasy feeling I hated. And I was like, let me go to bed. I went to bed, and I woke up, and no one was there then. You know what I mean? There wasn't even other people around, and just waking up feeling like that again. And I was like, that's when I started getting, like, very, very worried. And when I went to Alan.
Yes, of course.
Joe therapist, therapist of the comedians.
Joe List says I do the shittiest impression of Alan, but I think I do it good.
Hey,
come on! Your dad hates you. Get over it. Fight him. Fight me. Fight me. But you went to Alan.
Yeah, and I asked the question. The answer he gave me was yes, because I said, "Is it possible that one day you can just pop?"
Yeah,
and he was like, "Yeah, totally," which made sense to me because. All those things I don't remember having. I didn't. Like I really sunk into toys and video games and friends.
Mm-hmm.
I always had when a friend was a friend. My friends went in cycles too, but it was like all the time friends.
I used to live at my friend's house.
Every weekend sleepover, I had friends basically live at my house.
See,
their dads, it wasn't going good with their dads. My mom was always like, "Well, they can stay here. They don't care."
And that's how it was with my friend Zach and Mike, my friend who coached for the Niners. They, both again divorced families. Mm-hmm. Dad wasn't around, but they were totally cool with me staying over there because I fucking hated my mom's boyfriend.
Yeah.
I was just like, I just don't want to stay there. I can't. That shit's miserable for me to be there.
You'd stay there like on the weekends?
I would Friday morning when I went to school, I would bring a bag. I had this Tommy Hilfiger like fucking side bag or whatever that I got.
Sick, go your sideburns?
Yeah, it's fucking definitely matched up with my carpenter jeans. And I would take,
nice hammer loop.
Yeah, good hammer. I love that hammer loop. To this day, I wish I could bring a hammer loop back. They're fucking great. I
wish the hammer loop would come back. I'd be okay with a hammer loop.
I'm okay with a hammer loop.
Nice hammer loop says Carl Kanai right across it.
Oh, I want a Tommy Hilfiger. I want the American flag, motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But I'd bring a bag with me to school on Friday, and then after school Friday I would walk with Mike home to his house, and then I would stay there until Sunday night, and then Trish would come and get me.
And then during the week you'd stay at home.
Yeah, Monday through Friday, but I kind of knew how to avoid them.
Yeah.
Dinner was the only time where my mom always wanted to sit down for dinner, which I'll give her credit for. It was good.
Good, yeah.
But it wasn't good when they were both hammered just talking shit to me.
Well, I definitely had my mom just finally kind of gave in to one of those, like, I was getting in, like, trouble, but like the trouble really wasn't me going to school ever starting trouble. It was
Yeah.
like the age. It just kind of got brought to our attention the ages that I decided to start being like, well, I'm going to start fighting people who are trying to push me around.
Yeah, which I think that's.
You know what I mean?
You got to clarify that to your parent. You got to be like, hey, I'm not picking on anyone. I'm actually fucking defending myself, so be cool.
I was in a
about
school
that
that had a bunch of like fucking shithead kids and dumb fights and stuff.
My mom was always a big proponent of like, hey, if someone fucking pushes you, fucking hit them right in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad Trisha was such
my
a...
mom wasn't super in that. My dad was, and my stepfather was fine with it. You know, kind of get with the idea that it's like, well, it's growing up, you know?
Yeah.
My mom was probably more frazzled by it, but like...
But you're back to you popping.
But I went... I'm saying, so there was a weird thing where I did, like, you know, this one happened at Dad's, and my mom finally just kind of gave me, like, yeah, go live with your dad. And my dad kind of arbitrarily was like, okay.
That's, you know what's so funny
I guess
about
you're living
that?
here, and then, because...
That's the parental version, though, of you being out to dinner with someone, and you don't want to pay, and they take the check, and you go, let me pay. And they go, oh, cool. Yeah,
awesome.
you pay, and you go, okay.
Shit. Yeah.
You're like, because your dad can't say no in that situation.
Or it looks like he's everything everyone said about him.
And by the way, he is those things.
Sure.
But he can't let you know those. It's poker.
No.
It's fucking parent poker where he has to be like, call. And you're like, you called him on it, and he goes, yeah. I think about what would have happened if Trish would have done that. If at 12 years old, I would have been like, fuck you, I want to live with Dad. My mom used to laugh about that. She'd go for it. Pull that trigger. Do it. You want to move to Lakeport? And I was like, oh, God damn it. Because remember, I told you, I called her, and I was like, I want to go home. She knew right then and there that the game had been won. Yeah. Whatever game there was, she knew, like, this motherfucker ain't going to go live in Northern California.
Yeah. Well, my dad was, like, under 6 months, and, like, I never even thought about it. I wonder in hindsight if my dad let it be unpleasant for me.
You think he fucking made it a little tougher than it?
I don't know if he made it tougher at all. I don't think he made it tougher because I still kind of remember always my dad still being like fun, like the fun guy.
Oh man, fun dads are
but
so
my stepmom,
hard to criticize.
My stepmom just was not into it, and I wonder if he just kind of like facilitated like.
You think
he's like, maybe you'll get a little uncomfortable and want to go back, you know, because like when I said I was going home, he didn't go no. Come on, he's like, all right, I understand if you're not enjoying it here. Seemed like very quickly I was back. I want to be fair. I want to be fair to him. All I remember, the only pushback I remember from me wanting to move back home to Philly, from Ohio,
from Canton,
was my grandmother, who, by the way, this is a woman who tomorrow jump in front of a bus for me.
Yeah,
she just was like, you can't let. She was right. She was the same reason that she was the person who always tried to make me eat better.
Yeah,
than my mom. Was the same thing. She just goes, no, look, I want him home as much as anybody. My grandma said to me on the phone the other day. It made me tear up. I felt so bad that like my grandfather died when I was 10, and how important I was to her at that time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that woman meant the world, but she was just like, and she's right, dude. Being a father now, it's so weird. She was like, no, he said he's doing a year out there of school. Like he finishes the year out there. Then.
That's such a
like.
valuable...
Don't let him come. Like let him eat shit, and it won't kill him. He'll be home by the time he's whatever it was 13.
And that's
he'll be moving back home. But you let him do. But he has to do his commitment. He made a commitment that he wanted to go for the year.
That's a very valuable life lesson.
And
very valuable life lesson.
I gave up, and my mom was like, "Of course, come home," which I get too.
Because your mom wants you home. Your mom wants you back home.
She didn't want me to want to leave.
Yeah, but your grandmother is absolutely 100% correct.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you're going to say you're like. So a big lesson I learned through all like watching my parents and the shit show that was the one thing I learned that I really respected about my mom. My mom was like, if you say you're going to do something, you fucking do it. And my dad was the opposite. My dad would always be like, I'm going to come to your football games. When I was in middle school, he's always like, I'm going to come to your football games. And then it'd be like 2 games left in the season. We sucked. But I'd be like, hey,
sitting cardboard cutout of Daryl Earnhart Jr. giving a thumbs up from a fucking bar he worked at.
My mom put a fucking a vodka T-shirt and fucking. And like neon corduroys.
Cocaine, baby. She goes cocaine.
Oh no, dude! Trish and Joe were making fucking thermoses of rum and cokes and just getting smacked
at your games.
Oh yeah, dude! Smacked on Saturday mornings.
Anybody want a little cider?
She goes, "This is big boy sodas." They used to do screwdrivers and rum and cokes in giant thermoses. Those big fucking thermoses that you pour into glasses.
Yeah, you're supposed to be sitting on a steel girder above the city,
dude,
drinking out of.
Yeah, like fucking building
It's
something.
supposed to be soup for 5 people.
I'll tell you what it is. It's building the comedian. You're building a guy that's going to chase love every night on stage.
You were right to get your thermos at a Home Depot.
Yeah, but her and Joe would just go and we get blown out, so they just get fucked up. Which, by the way, as an adult,
it would make it much better.
There's a part of me that's like, yeah, get it, Trish.
I've seen Isabella's team ever in my life win 2 soccer games ever, I think.
Yeah.
And I've been to a bunch. Her mom's been to 18 times the amount of games that I've been to, if not more than that. And I think has seen almost the same amount of wins as I've seen. So that doesn't drive you to drink. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so I think our poor performance as a middle school football team pushed my mom's alcoholic.
It was your fault.
It's definitely
but not
my
just
fault.
you. Also that weak-ass line.
I want to shout out to Tom McDonough for not completing a pass on time. Kurt Dooley, where were you as a lead blocker? Gary legitimately had that thermos.
Of course.
I'm not joking when I say, tweet that out from the Bonfire SXM.
I know.
My father had that exact fucking
That's where he put his
thermos.
butts out on the fucking porch.
Oh, no. That's where he took road sodas, dog. That was that fucking...
I love the term road soda.
Yeah. That was a road soda for my pops.
Nice little road soda.
Oh, yeah, dude. My dad one time...
Did you used to see your dad drink and drive ever?
Yeah, almost all the time.
All the time? So,
man.
like, when you guys would get in the car,
Yes.
he would just have a couple.
Yes, he would hide it sometimes. Sometimes he'd brown paper bag it. But the best was he'd always have to go to the bathroom, so he'd have to have another empty bottle, like a soda bottle, to piss in while he was driving.
And you guys were in the car.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was there a flip side to that coin? Was there also times where he was trying to tell you the right things to do and maybe also don't be like me? Did he see any flaw in himself at all?
Yeah,
Self-loathing, like I suck, I hate myself. Did you get those moments too that make you feel like...
He would do that when I would come home late from drinking when I was older, and he would say, he would give you life lessons while he was doing push-ups and drinking tall boys of Budweiser cans.
How many push-ups could he do? Like more than Jacob?
Not more than Jacob, but he had like a lot more anger than Jacob, so he could probably do a lot.
So your dad was an angry dude. Do you know why your dad was an angry guy?
Well, he grew up in Hell's Kitchen, and he used to get the shit kicked out of him by black kids, Spanish kids, because it made him incredible.
Black Lou's filming this, and he's just shaking his head like he's like, I knew it was going to go there.
He was an incredible racist. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's like
incredible. Is that like he did it better than a lot of people?
Like a superhero?
One of the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali of racism.
Wait, did he put on a cape and yell the N-word at people? Yeah. He's an incredible racist.
Yes.
Was having that in your life, did you ever have a streak in your life where maybe you were racist, or did it always kind of turn you off to be like, what the fuck's this guy talking about? Because I think that would more do that.
No, I always knew it was the opposite of the way you should think, because my mom was such a good person and she was the opposite of that. So if you want to be a good person, you follow what she did. And
so you had two glaring examples of like your mom was what was right and your dad was what was wrong.
Yes, she didn't drink. She just smoked cigarettes and watched the Mets, but she was just a sweetheart, and she was why I'm a good person.
Yeah. Okay. And so your mom was the glue holding you, your brothers and your sisters together.
Yeah.
And then your dad was just kind of this disruptive force.
But he would try. I mean, that's just the way he was raised. He was raised in the city, and
what was his relationship like with his parents, though? Because the reason I ask that is because when I trace my dad's relationship back to his dad, he had almost the same exact relationship. In fact, my dad had a very similar relationship with his dad that you had with yours, where my grandfather and my grandmother got divorced, even though they had my dad and my aunt, and then he moved to a different part of the Bay Area and just started a new family.
Yeah.
Just legitimately started a new family, and my dad was kind of like, well, what the fuck am I? And my grandfather was an alcoholic, exactly like my dad.
Well, you use the term inspiring. I'll just say what my dad does for sure is because I live 45 minutes to an hour away from my kid, but like I just, in some capacity, whether it's either just speaking to Carla, if I don't get a hold of Isabella or something, like there's always some core. I know what happened in her day.
This is
every day,
and this is going to
just to know that is way more than my.
But
my dad's
let me tell you something,
sure.
and we rarely get very sentimental on this show.
I love you so much.
I
dude.
love you. Just let's kiss. Let's fuck.
I just
let's
want
fuck right now.
When no one want to get sentimental.
Oh, baby. Something that I had to bring up in therapy was that I never really addressed was I see how Jay fights to be in Isabella's life, like how he fights to be in it. To be like, no, fuck that. I know on Tuesdays most of the time you see Isabella. I know on the weekends, if you're in town, you're going to see Isabella one day. Right. I just kind of know this as being your friend.
Sure.
Just being one of your friends, I know that that's a thing you do in your life. And it was something that I took to therapy, and I was like, I told Alan, I was like, I don't think my dad fought to be in my life at all. And he goes, he didn't at all. He didn't care. And you're like, oh. And
You know what's
as an
interesting?
adult,
What's
you're
interesting
like,
about that is,
fuck,
you know what's
dude,
interesting about that?
burns.
It really is a telling thing that you describe. What I'm doing is like fighting to be a part of her life. Like that's just a thing I'm able to work out. That Carla is cool enough to like bring her like to me. If I had to go out there, like I would miss more. There's somewhere I just got to go. I can't do another thing.
Well,
like, my schedule is too tight to do anything.
And that's what's interesting about becoming an adult is I realized that Trish used me as currency against my father. So if because my dad didn't pay child support. My mom. Here's the thing about my mom. My mom's very intelligent and very fucking vindictive.
Yeah.
So my mom, when the second that my dad bankrupted my mom and fucking took that money from their account and then lied to her and she had to go into bankruptcy.
You can keep the Marlboro tent.
He goes, hey, man, keep the cooler. You and Jill get hammered. Bang it out. At least someone will be banging you. That made me. That's something that my mom and I had to work out. Where I was like, yo, fuck you for that, and she's taking it on the chin like a champ, like I fucked up and all this shit. But you don't realize like. The fight, like Carla's a great mom to be like, hey, I'm gonna bring you to your dad. Let's make sure your dad's in your life.
Yeah, no, it's smart. And it was even a conversation before we went to the 4 shows a week format. That was a real conversation I had to have with Carla where I go, hey, listen, this is making my schedule like me coming to you.
To Long Island, very difficult.
Virtually impossible unless we have like a week off.
Yeah.
Which is going to be rare also.
Yeah.
So my week is going to be like, we have to find time where you'd be bringing her in to me and whatever. And she was like, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Carl, to her credit, because it's like we've lived together for about 3 years now. I mean, right away, it was like, there was still a familial aspect to it, like whatever there was with their separation. Like Isabella was never kept from seeing Jay. She was never used as collateral. There was never anything like that.
But that's what's interesting about when you get into like parents being split. Like, so when your dad, Black Lou, when your dad left, did your mom like begrudgingly stop you from seeing him?
She become a big booty freak, Nick?
No, and she would never even say a bad thing about him around me. She didn't
really?
She didn't want me to have that mindset.
You got to understand, that is the opposite.
That dusty ass motherfucker. Oh, Lewis.
Hold on, she goes,
I'm sorry, baby Lewis.
She goes, hey, I'm here, right here. I'd slap him in his stupid black mouth. Oh, hi, Lou.
Oh, baby Black Lou.
Your mom called you Black Lou?
Oh, I'm sorry, baby Black Lou. Oh, no, I wasn't talking about your punk ass daddy. I was talking about how good he was.
But my mom openly was like, your dad's a piece of shit. When I would fuck up, my mom would be like, you want to be like your dad? You're trying to be like your dad? You're trying to be a liar like your dad? Like
that's
shit
no
like
good.
that.
That's bad.
Well, Jay's grandmother told his mom not to do that.
Before I have any memory of her doing that, my grandmother just goes, by the way, I think my grandma was right on board with like, yeah, he sucks.
Yeah.
But if you keep telling him that, he's eventually going to be like, you're just going at this guy who I thought I was supposed to just love unconditionally.
That's what fucked me up.
So they go, my grandma was like, let him fuck himself. And by the time I hit like, again, like 13 years old is when I really realized I'm like, don't expect a call from your dad on your birthday. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably not going to happen.
So
what it is.
What's interesting about that, and specifically that thing right there, is because my mom, from the time I was 5, was like, your dad's a liar, your dad's a drunk, your dad's a piece of shit. He's just fucking, don't count on him. He sucks. And I was like, I would hang out with him. I'm like, this guy's the best.
Yeah. You almost want to rebel against that.
So I did. So I was like, so that's why I would double down when I'd see my dad, and I'd spend 3 to 6 weeks. I'd spend, I had these like long summer or whatever vacation. I'd spend it in San Francisco. I come back and be like, he's the best. And then my mom would wait till I fucked up, and then she'd be like, you be like your father, like this. And then when that eventually does happen, when I realize he's not fighting to be in my life, and I'm 12 and I'm 13, there's almost this feeling of defeat of being like, God damn it, Trish was right. He's a piece of shit. And then it's like double down on the anger. That's when I started That's when I started smoking cigarettes. That's when I started fucking getting high. Because I'm like, what the fuck is any of this?
Well, like, once you discover it on your own, too, it's like much more of a go. You're like, oh, yeah.
When you're
like it
little.
really smacks you in the face. You're like, oh, I was pretty dumb not to see that one coming.
Yeah.
You also don't realize that, like, a hammered parent, like, when you're just in it as a little kid, like, it was other family members then telling me, they're like, oh no, your dad's not supposed to drink until he passes out every night, and then like you think it's normal. You don't realize it's weird.
It took my half sister, who's 12 years older than me, when she started getting into my life when I was about 9 years old, was when Trish started, and she started flying out, because she was 12 years older, so she was like 21, 22. She would start coming around and being like, yo, what is this? Because she lived in L.A., and so she would come visit, and she'd be like, like, yo, kid, this is fucked up. Like, this is a fucked up situation. You're okay. Are you okay? And my sister was the first person that's like, are you cool? And I'm like, what is this? And she's like, I'm checking in on you. And you're like, oh, this is fucked up. I don't know if I like this.
Yeah,
because now I feel
mom's not good either.
I'm like, no one's good. I don't have one good person. And then my sister's like, I got you, I guess. It's like that kind of thing where she's like, ooh, call me.
I know we have to take a break here, but I want to get into maybe when we come back from the break. Do you have any, especially because your dad's gone now.
Yeah.
He died when you were like relatively young.
I was 14.
So I wonder if you have any guilt.
Oh, this is it.
Chalked up. Do you have any guilt chalked up because you'd be with your dad and be like, mom's always complaining about blah, blah. Like you almost have like the shit talk sesh with your dad
all the time,
and you realize like the mom's the one doing all the fucking heavy lifting.
Are you kidding me?
So
I used to come home and be like, "Dad's the best parent on earth." When they would have like
mom sucks.
When they would do like at school stuff, and they'd be like, "Who's your hero?" I'd be like, "My dad," and my mom would be like, "This cocksucker." My mom would be like, "What the fuck?" My mom's putting in 70-hour work weeks and paying shit where she's like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "But Dad takes me to Toys R Us." She goes, "He doesn't pay child support," and I'm like, "Oh,
you know
he lives on
Joe's costs."
Yeah, my mom. I'm like, "Oh yeah, he does live on Grandma's pull-out couch."
Oh my god, that's my favorite thing ever. Your child support thing with your mom.
Oh, my dad doesn't pay child support, and I was like, well, he's got a very expensive furniture bill.
Yeah, she was like, don't take him to court. He just got a bunch of new furniture. He has to pay that. It's very expensive.
Who said that?
Jay was defending his
father.
father.
My dad told me he had an expensive bill.
He can't pay child support because he had to go buy all new furniture.
We have to take a break.
Yeah. Okay,
we absolutely have to take a break here. So we'll come back and we'll talk about that. Yeah, it's funny.
Because we gotta get to Black Lou. We gotta get to Lou Witzke.
Oh, tomorrow we're going deep in the. I say after the break we go deep in the rabbit hole.
Yeah. After our break, get ready to put on your miner helmet.
It's getting dark.
We're about to go shake hands with the devil.
It's the Lost Tapes, Bonfire.
And now, back to the Bonfire with Big J. Oakerson and Dan Soder.
Thank you, fans and friends and odds and ends. And now for you gals and guys, a few words to the wise. You Jims and Sal's are my best pals. And to look your best for the big contest, just be yourselves and have a ball. That's what it's all about, after all. So forget about the camera and think about the beat. We'll give the folks at home a real big treat. Don't worry about where the camera is. Just keep on dancing. That's your biz. Hey, and if I tap your shoulder, move to the side. Let the others finish the ride.
Don't you ever tell me that's not a skill.
Yeah, it is.
Well, guys, gals.
So is the Micro Machine guy, though.
We're talking family. We're talking family today on the Bonfire. It's the Lost Tapes, Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM 95. Big J. Oakerson, Dan Soder.
Or lack thereof.
Daddy didn't care.
Is this it?
Yeah, so we found this thing. It reminded me of on Bob's Burgers when the health inspector started playing open mic concerts at Bob's Burgers, and Teddy, the regular customer, just starts getting emotionally invested in it. Just remind me of things that'll hit you when songs, because that'll happen with certain songs. It affects your life, man.
Yeah.
Actually, you know.
This first song goes pretty deep. It's called Daddy.
At least it's a family song.
Daddy, you abandoned me. Daddy, you sold drugs to me. Punches are not hugs to me.
It's no elderly prostitute.
Bobby, you said you talked to him.
I did, kinda. But then he wiped our record clean.
Daddy, you're my enemy. My enemy. My enemy.
You are my enemy. My enemy.
No, it's just me, my enemy.
Sorry. You are my enemy.
He's going up there in cartoon lore the way Randy Marsh went up in South Park.
Who's that?
What's his name?
Teddy?
Teddy.
Teddy's
starting to be when a secondary character starts to. I don't like when I know Black Lou's filming Instagram because I have my glasses on and I feel like an old lady reading.
Now it just looks like you took your glasses off.
Hi, I'm Dan Soder.
He's filming me right on my sty side.
God, Lou, learn your angles.
I'm gonna have to yell, "Cut me, Mick," or no one's gonna understand what's happening. Cut me, Mick.
But yeah, he's fastly growing the way that, like, I remember Randy Marsh when he started getting really funny, and then they started giving more and more stuff to him. We were like, yeah, I really love this character.
Yeah, when you find a secondary character is like a big deal.
Yeah, when a good secondary
it's
character.
Amazing how much they don't know that's happening either, by the way. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, just all of a sudden they're like, oh, this guy's fun to write stuff.
Bob's Burgers is always going to be Tina. The Tina character is like,
Tina's
that's
the best.
Winner.
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole thing of the show. Again, we're talking family. Daddy, you're my enemy.
It's a pretty good theme.
It's a great theme.
Well, we never got into the Lou's. I mean, we
got into White Lou a little bit. I mean, last we heard, I think we stopped, he was hiding in a closet while Stu almost fought his dad.
Yeah, do me, not her, me.
And Lou was like, do them.
Yeah. And they go, has anyone seen Lewis? It's just an open bathroom window. I was gone in the night.
Is he eating his and Stu's portion of cheesecake? while Stu's in a fist fight with Dad?
Yeah, Stu's fighting his dad, and Lou's like, he said that he thinks you're a bitch.
I don't like the way he talks to Mom. You should do something about it, Stu.
You know what?
Honest to God, he was hugging me that day, and he whispered in my ear, he thinks Stu's a pussy.
He told me he wishes there was just one of us, not two of us. Go get him. I'm going to hold your cake. I'll hold your cake. Oh, wow.
Ow.
Did you and your brother, both you and both your brothers hate your dad?
Yeah, we all hated him.
There wasn't one that was like trying to stand up for him at all?
My little sister was his darling.
But did he treat her well?
Oh, yes. Actually,
not too well. He didn't treat her too well, did he? No. Oh, okay. I don't know if our show's ready for that.
Yeah. You go, guys. We just got to do the live show from here right now.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That was the Lost Tapes. So
it's just, when I say goodbye, it's just my hands on top of my head, walking around, going.
Yes. Yeah, he goes, that's pretty much probably the thing that led to her mental health problems and made her kill her own child.
I go,
oh my God, it's too dark.
Oh, man. You guys want to talk about Fat Titted Neil again?
Well, remember when I told you that my dad was racist growing up?
Yeah.
Well, that kind of changed when my sister brought home a black dude to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Black Lou just did a Wayne Gretzky fist bump.
Oh, so he
really did it. Look who's coming to dinner.
He was like, well, it looks like we're using plastic utensils this year.
I said dinner, not barbecue.
Honey, we don't need a valet. The driveway's plenty big.
Yeah.
This is my boyfriend, Dad. Your boyfriend's my valet.
We were still in, I was just out of high school. She must have been 16. And she said, Dad, I'm dating this black kid, and I know how you feel about things, but please be nice to him. If you love me, you'll be nice to him. And he goes, all right, honey, I love whoever you love. It'll be fine. I'll behave. So the kid comes over.
It's a weird reaction to a guy who fought one of his other kids.
Very cool, calm, and collected after a
this guy's very, very layered, your dad. Yeah. Multifaceted guy.
Yeah, he's deep. So the kid comes over. My dad says he's going to behave himself. He sits down at the table, and the first thing my dad says, trying to make small talk, he goes, so what do you people do for Thanksgiving?
Wow.
Really?
Swear to God.
Wow.
Did the kid rap his answer?
Yeah, he goes,
well, first we take the cornbread out the oven. Then I go,
what's your sister's name?
Jen.
He goes, Jen, hit me with a beat. She's like, he goes, took it, go in the oven. Mama looking good. It's like 90s
marinated
rap.
In Sprite. What?
Yeah. Wait, used peoples do...
What do used people do?
That is a black belt in racism when you think black people...
It's a little Jersey, though, too.
But that's him trying his best to make small talk. He's behaving. That's the best he can do.
Yeah.
I hear your kind has larger penises.
He goes, so, can you jump through the roof?
Is this the first time you've met a father?
I'm the male influence in the family. Hi.
He's the reason my kids aren't gay or criminals.
So how did he react to that?
Oh, my sister's left screaming, crying, Dad, you ruined it. But the kid, to his credit, stayed there and ate dinner with us. It was
fucking free meal. And he's gonna get a guild HJ later.
Sweet
man, your dad really made me tense, but I was able to hold it back. But now I'm all backed up, baby girl.
Put your pink hand right on my black.
Come on now, get that pink hand. Look at that. Oh, look at that color contrast. Looks like Michael Jackson's jerking off.
Looks like a job. Neapolitan. He can't even talk.
My dad thought he was thinking of Kwanzaa.
He thought there was a black Thanksgiving?
Yeah, used people. What do you do?
He goes,
you guys wear some sort of a ceremonious hat or something?
He goes, I thought you guys were Black Friday. I literally thought that's what it was. I don't shop. I thought
your Thanksgiving's tomorrow.
I thought you guys went a day late. You know you people. Yeah,
Black Friday is because it's a day late.
Lou's racist dad thinks Black Friday is Black Thanksgiving.
I ain't going out. I guess good time to go to the park. It's Black Thanksgiving. Ain't nobody going to be out.
Yeah, he goes, that's why everyone doesn't want to shop, It's Black Thanksgiving. So your sister, how long did your sister date this guy after this?
That lasted for a couple of years. And my dad did kind of get better.
Did he teach your dad how to dance, and then they all learned not to be racist?
He knew how to be a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
That's how the movie always goes.
Yeah. He goes, I'm going to teach you how to be cooler. You're going to teach me about responsibilities.
You know, hon, Jackson just taught me one of the...
He goes, put on that Ludacris song? Shoulder, hip.
Hon, have you ever heard of the Cabbage Patch? Because Demarius just really, I believe he used the term, learned me outside.
He's starting to call me Mr. W. I think that's a sign of affection.
So would you say your dad passed away not racist?
I mean, a little less racist, or at least he hit it.
He hit it better.
On his deathbed, he goes, I'm still racist. Oh, that's how he dies.
What do you do when you brought home a black guy, Lou?
Yeah.
Gave him the secret, the high five handshake.
There was too many things he had to process there. He goes, wait, what?
Yeah. No. Up is down.
Black's the least of my problems now.
No.
Please tell me, son, that you're the top.
Are you? Oh, God, I got to buy you a donut.
Power bottom, Dad, just what you feared.
And I want a donut for Christmas. I got to sit on a donut. So how old were you when your dad died?
It was 2007, so I was 30.
Did you guys make amends at all? Like, were you... Yeah, you guys were cool?
Yeah. Towards the end.
Because I never... Like, you know, my dad died when I was 14, so I didn't really have the balls to bring up the issues. I wasn't like, hey, this is where I was mad. Yeah. This is what I'm mad about. And that's why I'm walking away like a fucking powder keg at 34. That's why I'm straight TNT right now. But you got the chance to talk to him.
Dynamite. Can we play that over Dan's plugs now? Guess who's coming to town? Because I'm TNT. Dino. Did your father... me. Did you have a chance? Did he say he was sorry?
No, I mean, he didn't. No, he definitely didn't.
He didn't say sorry at all.
Yeah, well, he said he knew he wasn't that great of a father.
That's an acknowledgement.
Yeah, that is acknowledgement.
My dad's never done that.
He never once? He's never...
Dude, I finally, after talking to Lefkowitz that one time, I went and when he came to town, I purposefully had Isabella at her grandmother's.
Yeah.
I didn't have him meet Isabella right out of the gate, so I was like, I got to talk. I haven't seen this guy in 10 years.
Crazy. 10 years.
Yeah, I was like, I got to talk to him five times.
What was the age from there to there? Like 23 to 33?
Because it was about 10, maybe it wasn't 10 years. It was probably from about, without much exaggeration, like 20 to like fucking, what am I, 40 now? Yeah, I guess like 20 to almost 30.
Yeah, and you had Isabella.
Yeah, Isabella was
without talking.
Was 5.
5 years old. Was he aware of?
So it's 10 years ago. Yeah.
So he knew Isabella was.
Oh yeah, but still, probably today couldn't tell you her birthday or anything like that.
And didn't reach out.
No.
That's amazing. It's just amazing that
he'll still mess up her name from time to time.
How does he usually call her?
Well, the first time he met her, he called her Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
The first time he met her, he goes, "You must be little Elizabeth." And Isabella looks at Carla like, "What?"
Yeah. And what did Isabella do?
She was 5, but she was like, "That's not my name." Right?
She looked at you too, like you too.
Carla. I remember she looked at Carla. And I was just like, I was right next to my dad, like, Jesus, dude.
Dude, come on.
You just whiffed your one shot.
That's an interesting thing when the dad becomes a grandparent. How does he stay shitty dad, or does he become insanely good grandparent? Because I'll tell you this, if my Gary was still alive and I had a kid and he became a great grandparent, I would be really happy about it and also want to fight him.
Well, I got to watch my dad.
Have it in you. You have it in you to be a good grandpa.
Yeah, I got to watch my dad be a great dad to those other kids.
That's what sucks.
But that's fine. But like at the end of the day, who knew he was going to be? But this is not an excuse for him, because I make none. You know what I mean? He can be judged however he gets judged. I'm just saying I understand, being that I've had days where I've just flat out, I'm away in L.A. next week, right?
Yeah.
I have to make sure, because I've done L.A. trip, like, where I'm gone for the week, where there's been a day where I haven't even, like, texted Isabella. And then I look at it, it's like 11 o'clock L.A. time. It's 2 in the morning. It's worthless now.
Yeah.
Or the next morning I wake up and go, holy shit, I didn't contact Isabella at all yesterday.
Yeah.
So there is, I get the out of sight, out of mind, but you're just like, at some point, don't you fight that harder?
Yeah, that's really is my question for every deadbeat dad. It's kind of like, at what, don't you wake up like with responsibilities? Sometimes I wake up and I remember emails I didn't respond to, and I'm like, oh God, oh God.
But there's also that kind of, there's that extra thing of, if I don't speak to her, like I said, that weighs on me because of my dad so much more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I'm just saying, like, I understand there is a reality to the thing of, like, you got to remember, like, sometimes I'm texting Isabella like, hey, little girl, love you.
Yeah.
Or whatever. When she's been a piece of shit all day to her mom and has been in trouble for 2 days because I'm not really in the loop of that as much. So I don't know what the sentiment is over there because I don't live with her. And so I'm saying, so I realize I'm still not doing the ideal situation for a kid, but I'm doing the best I can in given situation.
I mean, there's 4 of us, 5 of us, 4 of us in this room right now that can agree with guys that we had dads that didn't even try.
Yeah, I mean, Carla wouldn't have just been happy to get. I mean, like she's like, she's great, but she was looking for different stuff that I was offering.
Well, that brings me to Black Lou, because Black Lou, your dad disappeared as well, but then you said you made peace with him, right?
Yeah, eventually over time, I started to make peace with him.
Oh, over time? I think I say over ribs.
So wait,
was over a blunt the second time.
Was over a blunt?
Really?
The second time.
You smoked weed with your dad?
Yeah.
I smoke weed with my dad because I don't. It's weird. You think it would be weird to do it, but I'm like, this is just like a dude.
But
right?
But
Black
Black Lou,
the sentiments. It's like, well, it's just a dude, really.
Right.
But Black Lou, this was the second time hanging out with your dad?
This was the second time where I took major strides in being cool with him.
Okay, so when did he took off when you were 2?
Yep.
And then when did he come back in your life?
Never really, because I never let him.
So you would try?
I was furious, yeah. So
when did you become like, when did the anger set in? Because I remember my anger was like 11, was when I was like, started to be like, man, fuck this guy. Because I mean,
I throw a ball like this.
Yeah. No, I could fucking wing it, dude.
You had a cannon?
I could fucking wing that shit.
Yeah.
And then I just want to fight people.
I picked up some.
Oh, you want to leave?
I picked up sports pretty well. Even having just a mom for a while.
I think I would have been.
My grandfather helped me, and then just friend. You just kind of go when you play with friends.
I think if my dad would have been in my life, I would have been a better athlete because I think I would have had the confidence of a dad being like, "No, it's okay to fail." But Black Lou, you were saying, when did you get angry?
I basically got angry like early on in my life.
So as a little kid,
I was the kid. I don't know if I said this on there last time, but I was the kid on my steps.
Yeah,
waiting for my dad to pull down the street because he was supposed to pick me up.
Yeah,
and watching every fucking car blow by, and he just never showed up.
Do you remember the thing? I don't know how your street was set up, but the top of the street, you'd see it get bright because headlights were coming.
Oh, you saw which house? You saw which house got hit?
Every headlights, you were like, here it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
There he goes.
Mine was looking at the front of the car for the light because I thought I knew my dad's lights. So, like, if a car was driving straight up, I'd be like, is this it? And then you're like, no, it's not.
That's why my grandparent, but I luckily, he'd be picking me up usually from my grandparents because my mom would be working or whatever. And when he didn't show up, like, my grandparents were so great at, like, let's do something fun, whatever. Like, I mean, I'm talking about being a little kid, but my grandfather died when I was 10. But I remember, like, come in, we're doing a puzzle, and we're going to order pizza or whatever, like.
Yeah, and you're kind of like, it's weird when you have adult thoughts as a small child when that's going on, because you hear that, and you're like, I want to go inside and do a puzzle and eat pizza. But also in your head, you're like, all right, I know why you're doing this. I know you're doing this because my dad's being a piece of shit right now.
No, I never got that vibe.
Really?
But, it's funny. Christine's met my grandmother before too. Talk about just 2 really good people, man. They were like, I'm sure they had their own. That's what's a weird thing about my dad. My dad, because my grandfather's like so revered.
Yeah,
and I'm sure
this is your dad's dad.
No, my mom's dad.
Okay.
My grandmother was never a fan of my dad at all. I think my grandfather. My dad always talks well of my grandfather, but tries to give me, which is just unnecessary, like too much of his dude that maybe he's making up.
Yeah.
Or he's right about, but he just does that thing where it's really quick. I'm like, yeah, like Pop really is the told me how to throw a ball and did those things with me that you were probably supposed to do. And he's like, oh, I know, everyone didn't like me in the family. He goes, your grandfather wasn't perfect, like him and your grandma almost got divorced one time. I think he was seeing, like, he started seeing somebody else. And I'm like, what the fuck do I give a shit about that for?
Yeah.
I'm like, what does that have to do with, like, him and my grandmother being awesome grandparents?
That's kind of
such a weird thing.
That's kind of the opposite of what I was saying with my grandma, where she does that thing where she's like, your dad was such a good guy. And you're like, he wasn't. Stop fucking lying. It's bullshit.
But it's his mom.
Yeah, that's also the thing.
Big difference.
My grandmother would never lie about it.
Really? So your mom's mom was like, he's a piece of shit.
Right. But my dad's mom would never lie about it. So there was a point.
So your dad's mom would acknowledge that he sucked?
Yeah, because she knew he was on drugs and alcohol. And
What
just
drugs
not
was
the
he
best
on?
person. I know. All I know of is coke because I found it one day.
Really? How'd you find
when
it?
I got older.
All I know is it was coke, and all I know about that coke is it was pretty stepped on. Didn't do shit.
I'll tell you this. I woke up the next day like nothing happened. He goes,
I'm still fell asleep behind the wheel.
He goes, I wouldn't be surprised if that shit was half fucking baking soda. So you found his coke at how old?
Later on in life. I actually got kicked out of my house when I was in high school.
Okay.
And had to go.
What'd you get kicked out
Why?
for? I like Black Lou's checkered past.
I was basically not going to let anyone get in the way of my conquest of white girls in high school.
Yeah.
So if you told me I couldn't go out, I'm going out. If you told me I wasn't going to go to prom because I didn't get straight A's, I'm still going to go to the prom.
Yeah.
So it kind of kicked me out. And then I went to live with my dad in Newark, which is a culture change.
Yeah. And where were you coming from?
Middlesex, New Jersey.
So you go
which was,
Middlesex.
like, tiny.
Yeah, you go Middlesex to Newark.
Yeah. All 98% white.
Yeah.
To
all black.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. And how was that transition?
All I'm picturing is his dad is Lawrence Fishburne.
That's all I was thinking with the fucking meditation balls.
Yeah, so I'm thinking. He goes, son. He goes, Black Lou. Let me tell you a couple things about life.
Yeah.
Don't let pussy own you. You owns that pussy. Now I'm gonna be over here with my sand weights.
Sandwich.
Want me to give you shape up in the kitchen?
Yeah. So when you went to live with him, how old are you? 15?
I went to live with him towards the end of high school, so like 17, 18.
And what was it like? I mean, culture shock? That is a culture shock.
Culture shock, and I also started working for him because he was a contractor. That's what I was saying before.
And judging by your Throwback Thursday picture, you were in the Bloods, which is probably a big thing.
Yeah.
Early on, but...
Repping that
set. So I would work for him, and he would never pay me the whole thing. So when I'm cleaning the house one day, I find this bag of Coke. And I'm like, yo, you never paid me what I worked for you for.
Yeah.
But you're buying Coke? I'm like, all right, let it go. He was getting married to his second wife. And the night before, he kind of like got into an altercation with me, and we fought.
You fought your dad?
So if you look at all his wedding pictures, he has a black eye in all of his wedding pictures. I fucked him up before.
Black
the night
Lou!
before.
This is the best part for the third segment.
I swear to you, I thought you were going to say, you never paid me for the work I did. Can I have this Coke?
Yeah. He went like this. He goes, Dad, you didn't pay me for the work you did. He goes, I'll give you the biggest line. Let's do that. You want to bust that out? I got a credit card in my pocket.
You guys having fun like this on the Apollo show, Mark Face?
No, but me and Nick will fist fight.
Oh, you guys got that dad vibe. Good to know you guys got that Black Lou dad vibe. How did a fight with your dad happen? Because I think everyone's fantasized about fighting their dad and how you would take him out. I know Gary's got a weak liver, so it's all kidney shots.
Oh, me? One devastating lariat.
Lariat! Gary's getting up going...
I call it a Garriot.
A Garriot!
Garriot!
He tried to... It was one of those situations where you're an angry kid because you haven't had him your entire life.
Yeah.
And then he tries to sun you.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like mushed me. And after that, I just basically dropped what I was doing and just started swinging on him.
And what was his face when you started swinging on him?
Daddy, you're my enemy. Daddy.
Was he just like, what the fuck
is happening right now?
Did he throw back?
No. He tried to do the whole like bear hug thing.
Yeah.
I hit him with a 2-piece before he got to me.
Nice.
And then his wife got in the way.
Did it feel nice?
It felt amazing.
It did?
Yeah. It felt fucking amazing.
Like when you landed that, and I'm guessing it's a 1-2, so you led with a jab, came in with a strong right, maybe a cross? I don't know. If you put one on his black eye, that wasn't a jaw shot.
This eye. So one.
White Lou's never going to know that piece.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, when he was on his deathbed, Lou, you just went in there and gave him 2 in the face.
Yeah. I was thinking about picking Gary up and power bombing him.
Let me, if you mind, just give me a moment with him. I want to say goodbye. Hey, Pop, sorry about this.
Yeah. I go, yeah, no, guys, just warm the car up. I'll be right outside. He's got to say goodbye to my dad. You shut the door? Thanks. Hey, Gary. Yeah! Elbow to his throat. Pop, pop. Ow. Ground and pound, baby. All hammer fist. There was this kind of like, what the fuck feeling? Like he looked at you like, what the fuck?
Basically.
And then your stepmom broke it up. Mm-hmm. And then you went to the wedding the next day?
I did go to the wedding the next day reluctantly.
Free food.
Hell, I get it.
But,
it always comes back to free food.
Yeah.
Lou's sister's boyfriend.
So at the wedding, did he bring it up? I mean, I'm interested in what happens when you fight your dad.
I mean, we didn't really talk at the wedding. Okay. So it was just, I went to the wedding, showed my face, and then that was it.
And then left.
Left for like a week or so, and then moved back.
Was he at your wedding?
Yeah, he was there.
Okay, so you guys, when did you start patching things up?
Separately, he sat me down like later on in life because I wouldn't listen to him before that, and my mom sat me down earlier in life and kind of told me what had happened to him and why he kind of took a turn for the worst in his life.
Okay.
And basically,
Did he get clean ultimately?
No, he still drinks.
But no more drugs.
Still,
Yeah,
I would say still.
All right.
Yeah, but one day he had an apartment with his brother, and they were like maybe 23 or 24.
Okay.
And his brother had a really bad depression issue, which is my uncle.
Yeah.
So my dad's like walking into the front door of the apartment, and they had a balcony.
Yeah.
It was called the Manor in Newark, New Jersey.
Okay.
He opens the door and he sees his brother standing on the railing of the balcony.
Like Forrest Gump, Jenny
Like Jenny
style.
on Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
So he's like, what the fuck's going on? So he goes out there to the balcony, or slides the door.
Yeah.
And his brother, my uncle, is saying, don't come out here. Like, I don't want to talk. Don't do anything. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he sees my uncle, his brother, go to jump.
Jesus.
So my dad runs and grabs him before he can, like, fully, I guess be on the ground.
Yeah. So he caught him after he
catch
jumped.
him. He caught him.
That's fucking crazy.
And my dad's, like, got his shirt and, like, one of his, like, arms.
Yeah.
And he's like saying to him, like, don't do this. Like, don't. You can fix whatever it is. Like, don't do this. And my uncle like looks up at him, and he said, "Let me fucking go." And he took his hand and like took my dad's thumb and like released it off of him, and then released his other hand and just like fell back with his arms.
How high up were they?
I think they were on maybe the 32nd floor.
Holy shit!
So he literally watched his brother
just fall to his death,
all the way down. And then once I heard that story from my mother first.
How old were you when your mom told you that?
It was during that time period when we weren't getting along.
When you were a teenager?
Yeah. And that's another reason why she wouldn't say anything bad about him.
Because she was like, she knew that fucked him up. Now, were your parents together when that happened to your dad?
No. So no, because that happened before they got together.
So then he met her after that. So when your mom met your dad, he had already experienced that and was like getting fucked up.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, trauma can make you get fucked up.
Isn't this the origin story for Cyborg and DC movies?
Wait a second. I know your uncle. Hey, yeah.
Hold on.
They did it.
The Spider-Man story.
Black Lou tries to sell it, and he goes, and then he flew away. And then I found out that he had vibranium in his thing. I go, wait a second.
Hold on, Lou. I've heard this story before.
So when your dad told you, was it the same details as your mom? Obviously, it was more detailed because he was there.
He didn't want to go into too much detail because as soon as he started telling me the story, first of all, I knew what he was talking about. And then you saw his face change. You saw his body change. And as he's getting deeper into the story, you see like almost all coming back over his face.
Yeah. And were they very close?
From what I understand, they were.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't really talk about him much.
Yeah.
That's really all I know about him. I never met him.
Yeah.
So.
Has your dad come through for you in life at all? Like since? There's been a few times where I've needed him to do something, or we've got to. He does contracting, so if I've got to pay $400 to fix something in my apartment or put something from IKEA together that she wants to fucking buy, then he'll come over and he'll do it. Sure, you give him a little bit of coke, will get it done quick.
Yeah, he goes, "Hey, Dad, you get that table together, you can do some yak off it, and then just bang the rest of it."
This is a mirror top. This is great.
God, I love love. I love love. I love love, and I love IKEA. I love that you guys love IKEA. I'm serious, dude. Father-son business, Sanford and Sons. We do it.
I like your dad comes through for you and keeps telling you that you owe him one, and then what you're going to find out, like at the end of Rocky 3, he's going to take you to a dark gym and have a rematch with you.
Yeah, and he goes, "You're going to ring the bell with me."
Ding. Ding. And then we get that picture. The painting. Me and Christine bought that painting, and then we found that it was a bad reproduction, and we sent it back. It was bumming me out.
Good for you. Do you have any moments, because Lou's dad's dead, and sometimes Jay talks about having moments with his dad, like when his dad came to a special taping, where there was I feel like you had father-son moments with Gary at that, right?
No, nothing. I'm just telling you, I don't feel that kind of feeling towards him, but he's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so you don't ever have like a father-son moment where you're like, you're my dad and I love you.
I don't think he has that kind of like genuine pride in me. We don't have pride in each other.
He has to, dude. He has to have that pride in you.
Listen, absolutely. But if I was driving a bus, he wouldn't. You know what I mean? He likes
that you've made yourself into something.
He likes that he can stand outside and go like, "Hey, I'm the old man," and that's fine. I don't even begrudge that. It's fine, but
I get that.
My emotion doesn't get to. Look, at the same time, who knows? Like I said, I should go and will go to therapy ultimately.
Crack that shit open, dude.
Because I'm telling you, what's so weird about it is like it is an odd thing that I'm worried about cracking it open, because even if I dig in, I'm so vocal and able to discuss like what I think my issues like with my dad are, and everything, that I don't feel like I don't feel like it held me back like a ton in life. So it's like I don't really have any like a.
But I also
it doesn't permeate everything I do, but it's
sometimes therapy,
but it probably does.
But therapy, a lot of the times, can give you a perspective that you didn't understand. That
right,
you had.
it's almost like
I didn't understand that I could, because of therapy. I didn't understand that I could hold my dad accountable and be mad at him like that. I could be okay with my anger because I wasn't ever allowed to be angry around my mom. Because my mom was so busy and tired all the time that if I got angry, she'd be like, shut the fuck up. You know, she's aggressive like that, where she'd be like, don't you fucking, what are you mad about? You have clothes on your back. You have fucking food in your belly. Yeah. What the fuck are you mad about? And I was like, ugh. So it would almost like temper that. It would almost like push that down. And then through therapy, I'm like, oh no, I can be angry. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, it's like to become comfortable with your anger, where you're like, stopping me from that.
What I'm curious to find out is almost like, you know, have you ever heard someone that says like they've gone to whether it be a chiropractor or a doctor or a sports like medicine where you're having lower back problems, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I need something worked out. There's like something messed up in my lower back. It's nonstop lower back pain, and they start doing something to like the inside of your shoulder.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what is it? And you're like, no, like this runs to that, which runs to here, and it goes, and your actual back pain's because you have like a torn rotator cuff.
That's exactly what happened to my mom. That's exactly what happened to my mom. My mom had a torn rotator cuff, and she thought her back was out. And then, I mean, almost exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
And my cousin Luke, he got injured, and I think at like work or something, he went, and the physical therapist was like, no, we have to work your lower back because it was something to do with his shoulder. So my mom went to the doctor, and she's like, my back might be, and they're like, oh, you have a torn rotator cuff. Like, you need to fix that.
No, almost my point. So I'm like, I don't know when you go.
I thought it was her getting her back blown out.
So it's almost a thing. It's like, well, I worry about my issues with guilt and blah, 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 and this and that. And then somehow it dials back to where it's like, well, your dad's never watched you, like, you know,
dude.
Your dad's never watched you shoot a basket before. You know what I mean? And then you start going like, I guess that wasn't difficult. You know, but it doesn't. My dad never watching me play sports means nothing. I would say it means nothing.
I didn't give a flying fuck that my dad never watched me play sports or whatever. And I never thought I cared about that. And I always kind of carried this thing of when he died of like, man, I'm tough as hell. I fucking walked through that. I don't give a fuck. Like, that didn't touch me. And then you go to therapy and you're like, oh, my constant need of approval from people's because my dad never said good job or tried to be in my life. And you're like, oh.
Hey, Danny. Good job.
Get away from me.
Not you, Jay. Not you.
But Black Lou, do you have moments like that with your dad where you guys are like friendly and you're like, oh, this is my dad and I love him?
Yeah, and it was right around the time of him explaining what happened to his brother.
That you were kind of like, man, I forgive you.
Yeah, not fully. Like, I don't forgive you for everything because we did fight.
Yeah,
later on in life, but I kind of understand more.
Coke, though.
And we're cool. So we, shared a blunt and a beer, and it was all good.
So I'm saying, my dad says he's coming to a show and stuff. He's going to come when I'm in Ohio one night, and it's always like, exactly. We'll smoke a joint, we'll bullshit for a little bit.
I don't know. Lou, did you ever want to have a moment with your dad where it was kind of like good, like a good moment?
Yeah, I think we did, but it wasn't. It's always tainted with, where the fuck were you when I needed you?
Well, I think I have that with Joe. I lucky out that I do have that with Joe.
Yeah, you did. Joe's great.
And Joe's actually
great.
Joe and Christine, do you agree with this? Joe's like a relative for being like a masculine guy for the most part. Like he's a pretty emotional guy as far as he's very much love you.
Dude, can I tell you something? And sorry to interrupt you, Christine, but I've just noticed when I've gone with Jay to his mom's house, or I've been around your mom and you and Joe, you can tell that Joe and your mom are very fucking proud of you, and like they like
yeah.
No, but it's honestly it's like heartwarming because Joe's like right, like at your special taping, he's like, you staying for both? I was like, I'm staying for both. He's like, oh, that first one was so great, and you're like, you see that he like really does, and then your dad's like, hey, so you do a radio show? I'm like, you're such a Gary. You're such a motherfucking Gary.
Right, but also exactly the same thing. Joe's also the one when I said I was moving to New York to do comedy, or I was stopping college because I was going to try doing comedy for was like, they did kick me out of that for a very short amount of time.
Of course, yeah.
But like, it was basically me begging my way back in, worked immediately.
The thing that I love about Joe, and I think this is such a testament just to the type of dude he is, because Joe was what, maybe like 25 when he started dating your mom?
No, he was 29.
29?
No, 27.
Okay, so a 27-year-old man who just got in a relationship with a new woman, and Jay used to stay at his grandparents all the time, and it was Joe that was like, no, Jay needs to be at the house with us. We're a family now.
Yeah, it's
he
weird,
should come
right?
home.
That's great.
It's great.
And,
Do you think a guy would be like,
dude.
you know,
I absolutely would be like,
when
no,
you have
let him stay at grandma's. Let me get my dick sucked on the couch.
Yeah, look, you almost understand the approach of the guys your mom was with, where they're going like, can this fucking kid go somewhere so I can fuck you on a couch maybe or something? My stepfather was like, no, you're supposed to be here.
Whatever Japanese man invented Nintendo, thank you. Because I stayed out of the hair out of so many dudes throwing dick at Trish, where she's like, go play Super Tecmo Bowl. I'm like, yay! 49ers reminds me of Dad! And then meanwhile, she's upstairs having fucking screwdrivers with some dude with Buzz.
Guy wearing a pink tank top. Says OP.
Yeah, no, that's too much Gary style.
Oh yeah.
No, my mom dated Denver dudes, so it was like, yeah, no more Garys after
fucking mountain goats.
Yeah,
OP's just made her start dry eating.
Yeah, she's like, But did your mom remarry Black Lou? So you had a stepdad?
Yeah.
Yeah, and were you cool with your stepdad?
Now.
Oh boy!
Because once my dad and I didn't get along, I just had a problem with authority in general. So new dude coming into the house, I was a little angry about that.
It's so funny, man, because it's like I didn't have that. I had the opposite, where I was like, with my mom's boyfriends, I was like, hey, I'm cool. Don't leave. Hey, I'll take your legal. You want me to take your last name? I've never really been tied to Soder that bad. But it was one of those things where I wasn't that way. Even though I was fucking mad, I don't know. My mom would bring in boyfriends, and I'd be like, I'm cool. Just don't leave. Can we have a deal that you don't leave? Because I would watch my mom, like...
Get sad each time, yeah.
I'd watch dudes break my mom's heart, and I'm like, hey, it's not me, though, right? And that's a weird thing for a parent to keep telling you it's not your fault, and then people keep leaving, and you're like, I really feel like it's my fault. Is this my fault? I feel like this is my fault.
Dan, was he a fan? No. But
Trish is lighting a cigarette. She goes, well, let's just hope the next one likes your voices, huh? Let's ashes in the sink.
Let's wrap this bad boy up, everybody. Thanks for being so open and honest, everyone. That was great.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it, because we went deep on...
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Did you ever have anything on TV or a show like really hit you about your dad? Like that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode? Oh, dude. I watched that a year ago and I was fucking crying.
Warrior? If I put the movie Warrior on?
Yeah.
Good night. Just good night. I will fucking...
Drunk Dad. Yeah, the one I talked about.
Good Will Hunting, it's not your fault.
I've talked about it a lot on this one. I think I use the example always, that riding in cars with boys. And that was the dad who's the shittier person in the situation, though, but the kid thinks he's the best. And the dad mom catches him doing drugs again and says, like, you got to go, or it's my fault that you fuck our lives up if I don't tell you to leave. So the guy goes in there, like, sad to say goodbye to his kid, and his kid wants to go with him, and he grabs his toothbrush. He's like, no, I'm going with you, in his pajamas, and runs outside, chasing his dad's motorcycle. And then the mom's like, he's gone, like he had to go. He loves you, but he'll come back, whatever. But then the kid just turns around and goes, this is what bothers me more. The kid's like, I hate you. You made him leave. And I'm like, I bet I made my mom feel like shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This wouldn't happen at Dad's awesome house with his hotter, younger wife.
Oh, my God, Mom. Why do you wear underwear and not corduroy shorts freeballing? Oh, yeah, the Fresh Prince.
I just wish I hadn't wasted my money buying this stupid present.
Oh, Uncle Phil.
I'm sorry. If there was something that I...
Hey, you know what? You ain't got to do nothing, Uncle Phil. Hey, ain't like I'm still 5 years old, Ain't like I'm going to be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's Daddy coming home, Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it, too, didn't I, Uncle Phil? Got through my first date without him, right? I learned how to drive. I learned how to shave. I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him! I ain't need him then, and I don't need him now.
Will.
Nah, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm gonna have me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids.
Hey!
Dude, that was a legit spit take. I mean, I fucking spit water all over.
We did it, Lou. We got it.
God damn it. I love you guys. At the Bonfire, SXM, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all that bullshit.
If you want to see us live, bigjcomedy.com, dansoder.com.
You guys know where it is.
Moon Tower's coming. Be ready for it.
We'll see you soon.
We'll see you very soon. Hope you enjoyed the Lost Tapes. We'll catch you next week live.